Hi everyone, my name is Holly, and in today's video I am here to show you all of the books I hope to read during Medieval-A-Thon, which I'm hosting yet again throughout the whole month of May. If you haven't seen the announcement video, go ahead and click the link in my description box below and go watch it and go create your very ambitious TBR. Because that's what this readathon apparently consists of, creating a uncontrollable massive TBR stack / mountain. So that's what I am doing today. 7 books here to get me to the Empress rank, because let's be honest, who wants to be a princess or queen when Empress is an option? I do have a book picked out for every single prompt because it is far too tempting not to, but we will see if I have time to share that or not. First, I'm going to show you the prompts that I actually want. So my Medieval-A-Thon wrap-up should be incredibly satisfying. We will hopefully be turning around a lot of books at the end of May. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, the books that you see turned around on my bookshelves are my unread books, and in my monthly wrap-ups, after I review a book, I turn it around because the challenge is to color in my bookshelves. So hopefully we will be turning around at least 7 books. So starting with the wardrobe, there are 2 outfits that I really want, and I actually have a reason for them. Okay, so the first outfit is the one all the way to the right, and that is you have to read a book with a dragon on the cover. And I decided to choose Dragon Slayer. This is Hamilton's debut adventure fantasy following a former King's Guardsman who used to be heroic, but now he has fallen on hard times when suddenly he is called back to duty because a dragon has awoken. This is the first to a series, and they are all pretty short, so very bingeable, which I might have to do. Okay, so the second outfit that I really want is the one all the way to the left, which is this kind of innocent village / tavern girl outfit, because when I become Empress and I want to go out into the public, I don't want to go out with my shiny armor. I need a disguise, so I need to blend in with the people. So I had to choose a book that has yellowed over time, and for this one I chose The Emperor's Blades by Brian Stavely. Or Stavelli, I probably butchered that. I'm really trying not to start too many series because more than likely I will enjoy it and I'll want to binge read them, which is going to mess up my entire TBR, but this is truly the yellowest book that I own. I bought it used and it came like that. I was betrayed. I do own the entire series, which is right here, including the prequel, so I am quarantine ready if I end up really enjoying this, and I have very high expectations for it. This is actually a very beloved adult fantasy series following 3 children who are living very different lives when suddenly the emperor, their father, is assassinated, and you can imagine the repercussions that has on the world, including the children. I am overly excited for this one, but yeah, I am highly prioritizing it. It's probably going to take over my life. So going on to the weapons, I obviously have to choose the classic sword, and that is you have to read a book with something pointy on the cover, so I'm going with Ravencaller by David Daglish. I read the first book to this, which is called Soulkeeper, in April, and I really loved it. It was super good. It's very comparable to The Witcher, where our main character is a mercenary, and he's part of the Keeping Church, so he's a priest, and he basically fights monsters as they pop up. I actually plan to follow along with the audiobook with this physical copy, because I've heard the narration for the series is really good, so I really want to experience that, and I say follow along because I cannot listen to audiobooks while doing other things, so I will be reading along to it. The next weapon I really want is the bow and arrow, and you have to read a romance, which is very ironic. I don't like romance, but for this one, I'm going to go with a YA fantasy because 99% of YA fantasy has romance. Adult fantasy, I normally don't have a clue if it does, so YA can't go wrong. I'm going with The Dark Tide for this one by Alicia Jasinska, which I know does have romance. It's actually an FF romance, which is going to be really fun to read, and it comes out in June. I'm really excited about it. It's like a dark fairy tale fantasy, so we shall see if we can finally find another good YA fantasy that I can add to my very short list. Well, you can't have a sword without a shield, so this one you have to read a book you have very high expectations for. So for this one, I want to read The House in the Cerulean Sea, and I forget who this is by. TJ Klune. Get it together, Holly. The amount of friends I have who have raved about this, oh my goodness, it is staggering. This book has already 2,600 ratings on Goodreads with a 4.6 rating, and holy cow, that is really good. So I have very high expectations for it. I've heard it's a very lighthearted read, a book that will put a smile on your face, which, let's be honest, we all need in our lives right now. It's all about this orphanage on this island where the kids there have magical powers, but supposedly very dangerous magic, and this brings our main character who has to go there and report back, but he has to stay there for a month. I truly think that this book could be a new favorite, and I hope that's the case. Moving on to the pets, I want them all. I want like a Noah's castle of animals. Noah's Ark, Noah's Castle. Okay, it was a bad joke, but I have to be realistic. I know myself. So the first animal I'm going for is the chicken, and you have to read a scary book. And for this one, I am going with The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. I actually had this book in my last October TBR because I wanted to read it around Halloween, and I never did. But you know what? I didn't read it for a reason, apparently, because I really want to read it for this prompt. Actually, I planned for this to be the very first book that I read because it is very short, and it'll get me out of that prisoner raking very quickly. So this is a very classic horror novel. There's all kinds of movies about it, even TV shows. It is a cult favorite, and I actually plan to listen along to the audiobook for this one yet again because I've heard the performance of David Warner, who narrates the audiobook, does a fantastic job. So again, I want to experience that. And the final pet that I want, because I feel like it would be just convenient and a smart move, is the horse. So you have to read a tall hardcover. For this one, I'm going with The Bands of Mourning by Brandon Sanderson. This is the next Mistborn novel that I need to read. Technically, it's book 6, but book 3 within like the Alloy of Law trilogy. I wasn't able to get to it in April, so it'll definitely be high up on my list in May. Okay, so that is my realistic TBR that I will be prioritizing in May for Medieval-A-Thon, which I'm so hyped for. I feel like this TBR is just so exciting. It's full of amazing fantasy that I think I'm going to love. Now, should I show you the rest of the prompts? Fork it. I'll be fast. I'll be like Speedy McFly during this. Okay, bear with me. Maybe a miracle happens and suddenly I get the reading speed of like Beautifully Bookish Bethany, who reads like 500 books a month. It could happen, that's all I'm saying. So going back to the wardrobe, the pink dress, which is read a pristine book. Honestly, I'm saving this prompt for a possible sequel that I want to read. For instance, maybe like the next book in the Dragon Slayer series or the sequel to The Emperor's Blades. So there's many options for this one. I'm leaving it open for that because I know me, I like to binge read my books. So for the next outfit, you have to read a shiny book, and for that one, I chose The Last Namsara by Kristen Ciccarelli, and this is a YA fantasy that is actually pretty underrated. At least that's what people say who love it, so hopefully I will enjoy it. I really like my underrated fantasy. Oh shoot, actually I have another option for that prompt, and that's Warrior of the Wild. I totally forgot. The shiny element being the axe. So yeah, that one's an option for me too. The next outfit is a book with your favorite color on the spine, and for this one, I'm going with 16th Watch by Mike Cole. I actually kind of want to prioritize this book just in general for May because I wasn't able to get to it in April. This is one of my most highly anticipated books of the year, and I can't believe I haven't read it yet. Mike Cole is one of my all-time favorite authors, and I cannot wait to read this new sci-fi by him. Going on to the weapons, for the daggers, you have to start or finish a duology, and I actually had to do a lot of research for this one because I really wanted a adult fantasy for it, but adult fantasy duologies are actually pretty rare, but I found one, and that is The Traitor God by Cameron Johnston. Yes, this is a duology, and I seriously like hoorayed when I found that out because this has been on my TBR for so long and I've been wanting to read it forever, so it is my time. And I have book 2 on my Kindle, so like again, bingeable. Oh yeah. For the axe, you have to read a heavy book, and for this one I chose The Stolen Throne, which is very heavy. It's actually really dense, and I actually really love the spine, and it is a shame that it's turned around on my bookshelf, so hopefully we can cure that and read it so I can flip it and see the spine. This is a prequel novel within the Dragon Age universe, and I could always use more Dragon Age lore in my life, let's be honest. So back to the pets, we have the goat, and you have to read a book high on your bookshelf, and for this one I have 2 options. I forgot to grab the other one, but the first one is The Perfect Assassin by K.A. Dorr, and the second option, I'm just going to put the photo up, Ironfoot, which is a book that was on a recent TBR and I never got to it. I desperately want to read both, but who is going to fight over my love? I don't know. This is a medieval historical fantasy, and this is a LGBTQ plus assassin fantasy. Can't go wrong with either one. So I don't have a book for the dog because you have to buddy read with a friend, and I obviously don't have a book pulled out for that. So going on to the cat, you have to read a book title that begins with a C. I literally have like 5 books that begin with a C. And one of those books is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. The only reason why I haven't unhauled this book is because I have these beautiful exclusive dust jackets that I got from Beacon Book Box, and I just don't have the heart to unhaul them yet. I'm very wary about this series. I feel like it's not going to be for me. It might create a rant review from me, but we'll see. And for the fox, we have orange on the cover, and this is another one that I am leaving open for a sequel. I know that's not fun, but I know me. I will want to binge read one of these series for sure. And that's it. I am going to be hyper focusing on reading in May, so wish me luck. I wish you guys luck because I've seen a lot of very ambitious TBRs. A lot of you are choosing a book for every single prompt, and I freaking love it. Keep them coming. So go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed because it helps me out so much. Go ahead and subscribe. I upload videos every single week. Follow me on Instagram at HollyHeartsBooks or on Twitter at HollyNiece, or follow Medieval-A-Thon on Twitter at Medieval-A-Thon. And until I meet again, happy reading.